I will now call to order the Middletown School Committee meeting at 5 o'clock on Wednesday, the 12th of November. Would clerk please conduct roll call?
Chair Greg Hewitt,
Present.
Vice Chair Wendy Heaney,
Here.
Member Tammy Holden,
Here.
Member Teresa Spangler,
Excused.
Member Bill Nash present. We
Thank
have
you.
a quorum.
Thank you. I will now ask the building committee to open their meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll call to order this evening's Middletown School Building Committee meeting to order, and ask Don if he would call the roll, please.
Yes, sir. Chair Ed Brady. He's on mute, but he's out there on Zoom. Vice Chair Bill Nash.
Present.
Superintendent Billy Niemeyer. School Committee Member Tammy Holden.
Here.
Shared Facilities Director Ed Collins.
Here.
Town Council Vice President Tom Welch.
Here.
Town Council Member Peter Carnation.
Here.
High School Principal Donna Sweet.
Present.
Assistant Superintendent Michelle Fonseca. Town Administrator Sean Brown. He's on his way. Community Member Mark Thayer.
Here.
Community Member Dan Tebow.
Here.
Community Member Don Moran here. We also have Greg Hewitt as an alternate. And we have Mark Tangway, who can represent Sean until Sean gets here. Mark Tangway, Finance Director. And we have 12 of 13. We have a quorum.
Very well. Thank you.
And please note that Teresa is here.
Teresa Spangler has arrived. Yes, thank you.
Please all rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Public forum. Individuals may address the committee on only one relevant education-related topic included on the agenda that is not related to personnel or job performance, nor revealing personally identifiable information regarding students. Individuals may speak for no longer than 5 minutes and must submit a public participation form to the school committee clerk before the start of the meeting. Non-agenda items discussed in the public forum will not be voted upon at this meeting. Do we have any public?
I do not.
No? Okay, thank you. I will now turn it over to the chair of the building committee.
Thank you, Greg. Welcome, folks. We have a packed agenda. We'll get started right out of the gate. Item number 2 will be to consider and vote on the meeting minutes from October 29th, 2025.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. I also vote aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Minutes are approved. Next item, number 3 on our agenda this evening is the architect's update. There's just one item there for Matt. I'm assuming they're here. Is the Cultural, Historical, and Memorial Subcommittee update, of which we met last week. I'll let Matt take it from there if he's with us.
Good evening, everybody. So as Bill mentioned, we met last week. Bill, Billy, and Tammy, Justin and Colin joined a few of us from HMFH. Colin from HMFH is our graphic designer, and he kind of led the meeting talking about the process that he uses on pretty much all of our projects where we do interior vinyl graphics. So here's just a quick summary of the things that we talked about in the meeting and the things that came out of it. But I do invite any of the attendees to jump in and add their own. So we started off talking about the examples of things that we've done on projects, which many of you have seen in person in touring the Saugus Middle High School and the Chapman Middle School in Weymouth, Mass. Both of those projects had graphics throughout the interiors. And on the right-hand side here is pictured. The top one is from the Saugus project. So Colin kind of just walked through the types of graphics that we do, whether they kind of convey historical information or local information, or they talked about education in the school or identity for the school. There's a whole range of things that we've done and are possible for this project. Then we also just reviewed the materials that we were able to gather or are available to us from the work that we did with the Historical Society probably about a year ago now. And then we spent some time brainstorming what possible themes we might have for the interior graphics, what types they would be, and we looked at the locations that we have identified in the construction documents for locating those. But we talked about if those locations were the best ones and whether there could be better suitable locations. We spent a little bit of time just talking about artifacts in the existing schools that may want to be salvaged and reinstalled in some way. And then we left it by saying we'll meet again in January. And in that time, this subcommittee would spend some time thinking about what those themes should be, advancing them and coming back and telling us what they think they would like to see. Itemize anything that needs to be saved and reinstalled into the new school, and identify others who may be good to have some input, including students or teachers, or talked about boosters potentially. But, we might want to engage a science teacher if we're doing graphics about, physics or biology or some other, engineering teachers or things like that. Students could also help out in some ways too. So after we meet in January, we'll develop some initial ideas after what we talk about, but the kind of gist of our work would happen most likely over the spring and summer of next year to develop those graphics. So any other comments, Billy, Bill, or Tammy?
Yeah, I have some comments and questions, but I'll let the committee ask first. If anybody has anything.
I was just gonna say, I already started digging a little bit to work on the themes for the floors. We had talked about doing like, a science themed floor for the high school or whatever. So we'll finish that. I also reached out to somebody in the community that knows, we had talked about, on a map when we looked at Saugus that had all the icons on it, Kowloons and all that sort of thing, and identifying what are some of the spots in Middletown that should be there. There was some discussion of, I don't know, whether we use a modern map or an old map. There was some disagreement, or not disagreement, but like there's different perspectives on that. I'm a fan of old maps, but one of the things we talked about was identifying things on the map that kids and that everybody will know. So we talked about, I actually had someone go out and do some reconnaissance for me. They're putting together a slideshow for me. Since I'm not born and raised in Middletown, I don't know everything, but we've identified basically all the surf spots, fishing spots that are common, all the parks that folks would know, the windmill, Green End Pond, the valley, all sorts of things just on a map already. So we can, that's a good one. We didn't do businesses on this one,
Okay.
but yeah, I think that's valid. I mean, Flo's Clam Shack, stuff like that. That's all kind of iconic images that could be used in this. So we're putting that list together for you, Matt, and I'll have a PowerPoint with all the spots on it, and we can go from there.
Great.
Go ahead, Tammy.
When talking about different things, I mean, some schools, I had gone for a tour at Rogers and saw the Viking and all the Viking sort of stuff. So that got us to a little bit of a discussion on what is Middletown's mascot, no mascot, maybe a mascot, an Islander. It's not really used anymore. The Islander, tried to find what that was. We have that one wave with that M on it. Then we have kind of collegiate sort of M's around, and thought maybe this is a nice time to kind of look at that a little bit and maybe work together with whoever is interested in creating something a little bit, more branding, since we're starting this with the whole school with everything, maybe we should look at that as well.
Can I make a
Sure.
Yeah,
But I do think as a lifelong Islander,
Just go to Mike.
to your microphone. Yes.
I do think we need to keep some history
Oh,
with,
absolutely.
whatever
Absolutely,
logo.
but
I mean,
absolutely, and maybe
the
we
wave,
try-
I think, has been around for a very long time,
Mhm.
you know?
But again, there is no, like, if there's a mascot somewhere, like, and there's one, we can't even find like maybe we can dig some out, like what that Islander even is, what that Islander looks like, what's that compared to the wave.
I don't
compared
think
to
we
what-
ever had an actual,
There was an image somewhere. There was an image somewhere,
Do
but
you?
again,
There is.
oh.
yeah,
There
go ahead.
So the high school is actively working on a mascot at the moment. It's taken us a little while, but a couple of graduating classes have pooled their money together. So the high school staff and the students feel pretty adamant about having a mascot. So we have two versions that,
Awesome.
we're bringing forward for students to present, to get some feedback on before purchasing. It's hard.
Yeah,
The Islander is hard. Right now, they're leaning, one image is of a caricature where the wave is the hair,
mm-hmm,
kind of coming over the top, looking very 1950s
mm-hmm,
coiffy. And then the other one is more of like, almost like a fisherman, like an Islander, like
mm-hmm.
a boater. Probably not too different than the Narragansett Mariner or the NK Skipper. Just trying to,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard, it's a hard mascot to pin down, but we have a couple of different versions we'd like to.
Yeah, and then when we looked into the other schools, I mean, it's like there's a polar bear, there's a shark,
Mm.
there's a way, maybe while we're doing all of this, though, to kind of figure out something
Yeah.
uniform-ish, I don't know.
So without getting too deep into this, because we have some
Mhm.
rather important stuff to get through tonight. You just want to be careful on the logo, because much of the work that's being done on the design of the school is already incorporating different graphics and if we wholesale change the logo now, we're going to run the risk of upsetting the design that's already taken place. So we want to look at it. I think the subcommittee and anybody is welcome to join and discuss it. But certainly looking at the logo, I remember the Islander very well, and I know I have a version of it somewhere, but we'll include all of that. I think all of that's we need to go back historically and bring back and look at what the logos were and where they've landed and where they are today. I do think that anything that the high school's doing, I believe, needs to go through the school committee ultimately. So we need to do that. The other thing along those same lines, just a little bit of housekeeping. One of the things we also discussed as the design team is going through the color schemes, and we've seemed to have identified Middletown blue and/or Islander blue, whatever it is. And ultimately, Billy, I believe we're going to put that in front of the school committee and just basically say, hey, this is the Middletown blue that we have going forward. That gives the design team, within the number system they use to identify those. That's all going to take place. That'll, I think, at our next meeting, probably.
Thursday.
I'm not sure if the other thing, just a little bit of housekeeping. I'm not sure if we're going to get to the signs as well. We need to get to that. Matt, I'm not sure. I know you and I talked at the meeting about getting the approved design that this committee did, the school building committee, and the one that was also looked at, the two that were being looked at, some modifications that you needed to make to those to get to Billy. Is that something that you're still working on?
We haven't we haven't done anything on it yet. Really, we'll probably get back to it once the signage submittals come in, and we'll just look at it, all together, finalize all the typeface and dimensions and things. At that point, we can come back and report to you what it looks like.
Okay, so, but ultimately, the signs that the school building committee voted on to approve and move forward needs to go to the school committee. So that is, I don't think it's necessary to wait for those final graphics to come in. I think I think we want to get it, before you do work that is not productive, we want to make sure that you have the final approved sign from the school committee. So I think the sooner we get that done, the quicker you can do the other work. That sound about right, Billy? And or Matt?
Yeah, I'm just trying to not, have us start and stop the work on this. If we can, as much as we can consolidate it, the better. So I don't know what the time frame is needed for the school committee approval, but
Okay,
we could try to work it into when we're doing the graphics for the submittal.
okay, we can talk about that afterwards, I guess, then.
Yep.
So that's the housekeeping I wanted to mention, and yeah, I'd say that the committee is certainly dialed into the historical part, the graphics. Don, I do want to get with you, and a couple of us want to get there, just to really take photos and begin the cataloging of itemizing, as we say, of the stuff. I know Billy's already started with some stuff. You all probably have that in your mind as well, but those are important things. We did also talk about some of the relocations and, of course, memorializing the Gaudet name, memorializing the Barry Clark Gymnasium, among other places that were important to
Planetarium.
the planetarium, of course. Yes, actually, yeah, that much of that was discussed at the meeting, and we'll continue to do so. I can let you all know that much of that will be included and incorporated into the new school for sure, and the new facility, if you will, the campus. Let's see, Greg, go ahead.
From the theme perspective, I think it would be wise to invite someone from the naval
Use your
station.
microphone, please.
I said, I think it would be wise to invite somebody from the naval station. We do have a liaison because the Navy is a big historical part of this town.
Also, I'm assuming you'd have the windmill in there, right?
Windmills included, right? That was discussed as well. Yeah. So all of that's being taken into account. Don, I will get with you soon, and anybody else, Tom, Tammy, whomever else, and we'll make a time we can go in and you can help us identify some of these places, at least in the high school. And then ultimately, we're going to need to go through Gaudet. There's stuff in there, I would imagine. And we'll just leave it at that for now. We have until January, but we want to get that done probably soon after Thanksgiving. Get in there and get that done. The only other thing I'll mention before we move on is we also did talk about a time capsule, Donna.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Matt had a great idea on how we can do that, providing a space within a wall of the building. It's been done before, and we can talk more about that, but I don't want to lose sight of that either as well, which we could include. It's, your typical cylinder, but visible where people can see and access it when we decide to have it open. So anyway, that's still all on our plate. It's an awful lot of stuff, admittedly. So, but it's important. It's important. We'll just leave it at that. Any other questions, comments? Okay. Thank you, Matt.
You're welcome.
Okay, into the real meat of the meeting tonight. Item number 4, the owner's rep update. Justin, it's all yours, and
Okay.
Colin.
So I'd like to start by reading through every page of the 348 pages.
Okay, well, that's going to blow my theory out of the water.
No, I trust that the committee has had an opportunity to read through the GMP proposals that were sent out last week. What I'm going to do is just go through an overview of the costs associated with it and answer any questions that you might have before reviewing the overall budget, and then asking you to vote to approve the two GMP proposals individually. So starting with the elementary school.
Excuse me, just for some clarity on process here, we're going to do that, like you just said, and ultimately vote on the school building committee, but also when that's said and done, the school committee will also move to do that. For those that, I know, Teresa, you're not, that's why we have in the joint meeting to move that forward so that the council can ultimately get it.
That's why I'm here, yeah.
So that's why we're all participating here, but ultimately it'll be 2 separate votes. Just want to be clear. Thank you, Jess.
Okay. So based on the review of Bentley's guaranteed maximum price proposal for the Valley Elementary School, we are recommending that we approve the GMP amendment value, which includes the allowances in item 6 of the GMP proposal. The base value of $9,427,171. And that is your base scope of work based on the documents prepared by HMFH and DPVW and their sub-consultants. We are also recommending that we vote to approve change orders 1 through 9, which will be included in the GMP proposal. These change orders have actually already been reviewed by the school committee and school building committee and just are included in here as part of the GMP proposal. I can review those individually, but if needed, but the total for those 9 is $114,394. It is mostly the initial the costs that are above what was included in the allowances were the investigation of the existing HVAC system, costs associated with the courtyard restoration, and the last one was there was an upcharge for the Dakin HVAC equipment over what was initially proposed, so that we have equipment matching on both schools. The rest of the change orders were all for work that was mainly done in the tunnels and was all done on a time and materials basis and applied to the allowances that were established during the RTA process. Any questions on change orders 1 through 9? All right. Moving on, we have 10 add alternates that we are recommending that we approve. First one being alternate 1A for the cafeteria roof in the amount of $291,004. Alternate 1B, which is the gym roof, in the amount of $147,014. 1C is the library and science wing roof in the amount of $1,607,451. Alternate 1D, which is the mechanical wing roof, in the amount of $1,091,535. And 1E, the skylights, in the amount of $165,019. Those are all related to the roof. And then we also have alternate number 2 for the column enclosures for $124,108. Add alternate 3 for the first floor bathroom core in the amount of $633,178. The new elevator in the amount of alternate 4, the new elevator for $753,594. Add alternate 5, which was the pricing request 2 for the stair and chair lifts and associated electrical revisions in the amount of $172,947. And lastly, add alternate number 6, which was PR 001 for additional hallway revisions in the amount of $438,570. The total of the base GMP amendment change orders, previous change orders, and add alternates, we're recommending a total GMP approval of $14,965,985 for Valley Elementary School. Any questions?
Question?
I have a couple, but you want to go first?
Just to some maybe clarifications for the skylights at alternate 1E. What are we doing with those again? Are we just replacing them?
Replacing them.
We're not filling in. We're replacing where?
Replacing the ones.
We're actually restoring the skylights in the old library.
Ah, okay. Thank you, Ed.
You're welcome.
And can you touch on, it's almost $500,000, the additional hallway renovations? General scope of that.
General scope is removal of the existing lockers, replacement of the 4th and 5th grade wing lockers. Flooring will be replaced, and there's additional painting scope associated with it. Ed, did I miss anything?
No, that's pretty much it. The intent is so that it doesn't look like the old high school when the elementary students come in.
Right. Oh, that's good. Thank you, Ed. Thanks.
You're
Justin.
welcome.
Don, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a few questions. Thank you for sending it out early. It allows us the opportunity to read it from beginning to end. My first question is, if I look at the AIA document, it only lists the base contract amount. Do we need to then amend it again after we approve the alternates? Or how does that work?
So what'll happen is we will issue, we will sign the AIA, and then there'll be an amendment to approve all of the alternates.
Do we need to come back here again? Okay, good. That's just my first question. Thank you. About the lockers in the hallway. It's listed as on the schedule as being done this coming summer. But the high school will still be in there the following year. So are we going to push that to the
Yeah,
second
we'll
summer?
push that to the
Okay, so we
second
need
summer.
to
Anything
update.
that affects the high school
Yeah,
will be
so
done
we need to
in the last
update the
summer.
schedule on that.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We'll be doing some of the work,
Sure.
like painting.
Painting, absolutely, but not the lockers and that
Correct.
stuff. Okay, good. There's a whole list of budget holds and allowance logs. How do you track those allowances? Like, do we have visibility? Because that's more money that could be spent that may not be spent, that'll be left at the end.
Right.
How does that get tracked?
Colliers tracks that.
Okay.
So Bentley will track it for Valley Elementary School. Colliers also tracks it independently. And, any expenditures against that are reviewed weekly. Well, they're reviewed at the OAC meeting, which during construction will be weekly.
Okay.
Right now, we're meeting monthly until we get closer to getting back into construction.
So as you go through one and you use, let's say what's an allowance of 50,000 and you use 20, do you then update the budget to put that in like a contingency? Like how do you?
No, it's already in, it'll already be in the line item budget for the GMP.
Okay.
It's tracked outside of the budget block.
Okay, I'm just curious how we would know what's left at the end if you don't spend it.
What's left at the end gets, like I said, it gets tracked.
Okay, that's fine.
It gets continually tracked.
Yeah.
And we review it each week with an updated, we'll have an updated.
And she'll have an allowance tracking log or something. Okay,
There's an allowance
that's
tracker,
fine.
yes. We always know how much money is left in that
Right.
allowance. And if we don't need the allowance, we have the option of using it to fund, potential change order items.
Exactly.
Or moving it to the owner's contingency for any
Exactly.
other
Okay,
items.
perfect. I noticed there's the MBEWB log obviously was originally done against the target of 10,279,000. Once we approve the alternates, it's now 15 million. How does the MBEWB get circled back to make sure we hit the 7.5%?
It'll be continually tracked throughout the project. And it will be audited on a regular basis. And, but it's not, at the end of the project, we need to verify that we have the 7.5%. So we'll
Exactly.
be tracking it throughout the project. and
Because now we
verifying
need
everything.
50% more than what we said we had. So as long as there's a process.
Yeah,
'cause
we actually have right now, and I did the math. I believe we have enough in WBE, but we are with the alternates. Based on what was already approved in the RTAs, we will be a little bit behind, like a 1.5 behind on MBE, but that will be resolved through
Yeah,
awarding of the alternate.
WBE is very healthy. That one's already there. Yeah, it's the MBE.
Yeah, we were about 6%
Yeah,
based on
Right,
what we have
okay.
already approved in the RTAs.
All right, last question, sorry. You have another financial page coming up.
Yes.
And the numbers are very different than these. They don't line up,
Mhm.
right? Because you have the owner's contingency separate, they have it in the GMP and everything. So maybe when we get to the final budget, you can help us understand how they tie.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
That's good.
Just-
Thanks.
Justin, on the schedule, we will revisit that once we start scheduling with Bentley, because to the best of my knowledge, those lockers aren't even being used. So, well, that'll be open for play.
Yeah, I had mentioned to Dawn offline, we will be right after the
Yeah.
first of the year, starting to really focus on logistics for the next summer of work. And, if in fact, we can take those lockers out, the more work we can get done this summer will obviously be the less work we have to do in the last summer, which is going to be the bulk of the work that happens at the high school. So, yeah, after the first of the year, we'll start really working on logistics, coordination, and scheduling of the work for summer of 26.
Good. Don, anything else? Anybody? Carry on.
Okay. Moving on to the middle high school.
Those are different than the other ones. Different numbers.
bit. So for the middle high school project, Colliers is recommending a base GMP amendment value, inclusive of the allowances per the Exhibit D included in Gilbane's guaranteed maximum price proposal, in the amount of $132,301,152. We are also going to go through all 17 alternates. Alternate number 1 for the multipurpose playfield and scoreboard, we're recommending approval in the amount of $511,485. For alternate number 2, which is the softball field, we're recommending approving a value of $1,625,668. Alternate number 3 for the north driveway. Before I get into the value of this one, I will note that approval of the north driveway will require a resubmission to the Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management and the Rhode Island Department of Transportation, which does require additional services from our design team. I can tell you that I have carried an adequate amount in the revised draft budgets to cover the cost of that expected added services proposal. We also had a meeting today regarding the north driveway with Gilbane because it will require them to resequence some of the work because they won't be able to do the work associated with the north driveway until after the RIDOT, excuse me, RIDOT and RIDEM approvals. At this time, because we don't know if there will be any changes made by RIDOT or RIDEM, we can't foresee if there will be any changes required to the cost of this driveway, of cost of this alternate. So the cost that we're proposing in today is based on the current design in the contract documents.
Just, so I also sit in that meeting today, Justin, and maybe just explain that process, DOT, DEM is really more the issue, I think.
DEM is the issue, yes.
DEM is more the issue, respectfully to DEM. Timeline we anticipate 6 months.
So we anticipate having the
No.
revised design submission done right after the first of the year. And then we're anticipating anywhere from 3 to 6 months of approval time from DEM.
It'll be longer.
Or longer.
Or longer. But that's working with Gilbane on adjusting their sequencing, like you said, is all part of approving this alternate.
Mhm. All right, and the value of that alternate is $564,397. The next alternate is that alternate 4 for the site furnishings in the amount of $377,066. Alternate 5 is not used, no costs, no approval required. It was the outdoor, yeah, it was the outdoor classroom, which didn't end up having to be an alternate. The design was modified to essentially make that alternate not applicable.
Thank you.
Alternate number 6 is to change the bituminous walkways to concrete, and we're recommending a value of $221,127. Alternates 7 through 9 were previously approved by the committee and town council and are included in the $132 million base GMP amendment above. Add alternate 10 is the roof visual screen that was rejected several months ago. Add alternate 11 is the removal and disposal of the existing building, furniture, fixtures, and equipment, recommending the value of $220,945 for that work. Deduct alternate 12 is to delete the demolition of the cell tower, which would be a deduct of $10,347. I'm recommending that we hold that alternate because
Recommendation of legal counsel.
so demolition of that cell tower is included in the base GMP, and if it's deemed that it'll be taken down by a third party, that deduct will become applicable. At alternate number 13 is the relocation of existing trees. I'm recommending we reject that alternate, and I have included in the package for today an RTA for Northeastern Tree Service to perform the work directly for the school through the Rhode Island Master Price Agreement. Alternate 14 and 15 were the irrigation systems for the multipurpose field and softball field. We're recommending we reject those. It would, as you know, moving forward, those would affect our CHIPS points. Deduct alternate 16 is alternate kitchen equipment. It's a deduct of $61,631. I'm recommending we hold that alternate until the submittals for the kitchen equipment are reviewed and it is deemed that the alternate equipment is acceptable, in which case we can revisit that one at a later date. And the last add alternate is number 17 to add a 1/4-inch thick perforated riser, which was previously rejected as it's not required per the structural review of these submittals based on the original design. All in, we're looking at a total GMP value with recommended alternates of $135,821,840. I will note that with the updated budget and the recommendation of all of these alternates, we are proposing to move $2,881,500 from the middle high school budget back into the elementary school budget. If you remember, we had moved about $5.7 million from the elementary school to the middle high school a while back. Any questions as it relates to the middle high school GMP proposal?
Don?
Same questions he answered earlier.
Any
so I'm good.
questions? Just for clarity, because some of us, I mean, some people have not seen these listed alternates for a while, obviously. This is all good news, folks. This is great news, actually. Softball field, the multipurpose field with a scoreboard, the softball field also includes a scoreboard, that's correct?
Correct.
North driveway, the removal, alternate 11, removal of existing FF&E. That's the Gaudet School, furniture, equipment. What was the alternative if we didn't do that?
It would have to be done by the
The
school.
town and the school. Okay, so we include that in our bid, all right?
It'd be Ed's job.
You know what? That is, and okay, and I remember that. Okay, I'm good with my questions. Anybody else? Yes,
I have
Greg?
one question on the tree service proposal. In ours, I have tree relocation. So could you just go into a little bit more detail?
Sure. There were originally 10 trees that were designated to be relocated, transplanted around the Gaudet site. And it's actually going to go to the south of the new fields. One tree is within the Gilbane limit of disturbance right now within the fence line. That one is included in the GMP and will be relocated by Gilbane. There are 9 additional trees outside of the fence line that were identified by members of the tree commission that will need to be transplanted before the Gaudet School is raised. We received pricing from Gilbane as an alternate. I also, using the Rhode Island Master Price Agreement, requested pricing from Northeastern Tree Service. The Northeastern Tree Service proposal was much more favorable cost, and it gives the town and the school district more control of when that work happens, which is why I'm recommending that we do it outside of the GMP.
Okay, yeah, that clarifies, because when you said Northeastern, I'm assuming they're cutting trees down.
No, these will be spaded and transplanted. Yeah,
So not
all
about
done by a
10
certified
trees total.
horticulturist.
Go ahead. Oh, sorry, Tracy.
Just a follow-up on the point. The alternate was $67,000, right? And then your proposal is only 9,000. It's the same work?
Yes.
Thank you.
Trending in a good spot, though, like we have been for most of the project. Trending in a good spot for
No,
us.
I understand, but the difference between the alternate
Indeed.
is a lot.
One of the fortunate things about doing it direct is,
Is markups.
there's several layers of markup to go from the subcontractor for the tree removal to the landscaper to Gilbane. So it eliminates all levels of markup.
Teresa had a question.
I had a quick question about the furniture removal. So you're talking all the furniture, desks, chairs, tables, all of that.
Yes.
So are we disposing of that? Are we repurposing it? Are we selling it? Or is it just going to a dump?
At some point, we take what we need out of there, we walk out the door, close the door, and then it's their building to take down.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be, for chips, what can be recycled will be recycled.
So we,
Eventually it'll be disposed of, but
right, so we make that decision, once the new building and we have a storage
We
area.
walk out with
we
what we
move
want.
what we want.
walk out with what we want to walk out with, and then a building goes to them, and they take down the building and whatever's in it.
Okay. So nothing is, we can't sell it to other districts or get rid of it? Or
Tried
is it-
that before, it doesn't work well. You
Okay.
end up storing it, and really anything worth of value we'll use in the other buildings,
Okay.
anything not.
We'll go
it
through
doesn't-
and pick out what's,
Yeah, we'll pick out what's good, but tried that before, it never works out. We end up storing it. and
Yeah,
paying a
we
bunch
can't
of-
do
yeah.
that.
and it's also a time critical thing where we need to clear that building out.
Right.
As soon as school ends in 27,
Places are built.
we need to be in there and
Yep.
removing furniture, doing abatement and taking the school down so we can
Just demolish
do the
it, right?
fields.
What Rogers did is they had one day where they let the community in for 3 hours. Anything they wanted.
Use the microphone.
Hmm.
please.
I'm sorry, what Rogers did is at the end, they had like 3 hours on a Saturday where they let the community in to take anything they wanted. So if anybody wanted a desk or the projectors, a lot of them stayed and went down with the building.
we'll coordinate with the town on what they want to do, what the school wants to do.
Absolutely.
I just have another comment and a question. First of all, like I said at the very beginning, this is great news, folks. The fact that we're able to do this at this point in time is huge for us. And, I've been a big fan of these alternates from the beginning, particularly the North Drive, which I'm ecstatic that we're going to put it in. I wanted that in from the beginning, as I did with the fields. The other thing that was important to me, and I didn't ask the first time, and I'll just ask again, just for the sake of asking, I love getting away from bituminous, and I love the concrete. It's a brushed finish, am I correct?
Yeah, it's
Room
not an
brush.
exposed aggregate.
Non
It's
exposed
a
aggregate, which I
typical
love.
Room finish, yeah.
Which I love, but I understand why. But I do have a question on the curbing. We did some granite, I believe, at the critical turning radiuses, I think. Do you know off the top of your head? I mean, I don't need an answer now.
Off the top of my
We
head.
started down that path and it's so discontinuous to mix and match concrete and granite. And it was not favorable. If you're gonna go with concrete, go with concrete. Don't throw in a couple of pieces of granite.
I thought there was some granite up at the entrances. Anybody know off the top of their head, Matt, or anybody? No.
I
had pointed out.
Yeah, there's granite at the kind of entrance curbs. Those are the ones that would take the most abuse.
One to take the most abuse, right? So there will be a marrying of materials, but it is what it is. Okay, that's, but again, ecstatic that we're able to do this at this point in time. I think we're very fortunate. I know we're very fortunate. We should remember that as we go forward. Anybody else? Okay, carry on, Justin.
All right. So brings us to the budget update. So right now we're working with the available funding of $194,184,308, which is comprised of the $190 million of the bond, the $484,308, which is the appropriation from the general fund, which was for the generator and the windows at the gym. Thank you. And then we also have $3.7 million of bond interest to be filtered into the project. So with that, we've got a total elementary school project budget now of $20,182,100. We have a total middle high school project budget of $173,373,200, which actually leaves us with a surplus that could be used for renovations at the Forest Avenue School of $629,008.
We care to touch on any of that at this point? Can we maybe give us, I mean, that's the great thing. Again,
So-
another great thing, but.
Yeah, so these budgets, and I did send draft budgets out, with the package. So what these budgets include for the middle high school, it includes all of your furniture, fixtures, equipment, technology upgrades, all of the fees associated, with your architect, your OPM, materials testing. It includes, at the middle school, middle high school, we have just over $7 million of available owner's contingency. And at the elementary school, we have just under $1 million of owner's contingency, all within those numbers. We've also, based on, some conversations with town administrator and facilities director, there are there's some additional funding within the elementary school for new furniture, which we originally did not have in the budget. Looking at funding playgrounds are now included in the budget. New blinds, renovations to the stage is included in that, and
Stage at the high school?
the stage at the existing high school, adding new card readers, whiteboards, and a new monument sign, rather than just refacing the existing
You had to
sign.
bring up signs, didn't you? We struggle with signs here for some reason.
Well, once we have the one down for the middle high school, it'll just trickle down to the elementary school.
What I was kind of referring to, thank you for the explanation, is the exciting part is to be able to do some work at Forest Avenue, touch all of our schools and get reimbursement for that. That's huge. That's huge, folks. So, yeah, what kind of work? I mean, I'm assuming we're going to hopefully be able to do the work there with a surplus potentially.
Yeah, so the design team is currently putting together a proposal to do design work there. We're looking at renovating the bathrooms, replace the flooring on the lower level, upgrade the exterior fenestration, new HVAC systems, replacement of the elevator. So these are all things
Spending
that
that money real quick.
these are all items that we're looking at, and of course, we'll work on, first step is to approve the design proposal.
Right.
Next step is to start working on design and then start, estimating some of these, some of the scope, and then of course to discuss with the town funding.
Prioritize.
Yep,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yeah, Don, sorry.
So, with regard to our original ride submission, right?
Yes.
We had 170 and 20, essentially.
Well, we had, just over 170 for the middle high school.
Right.
We had 26 million for the Valley Elementary School. We had just over 4 million for Forest Ave. We actually had over 5 million for a Quidnick school that we're not going to be using.
So what I'm wondering is, do we have a general contractor lined up for Forest?
Bentley
is-
is under contract for
For
all
all
elementary
elementary.
education.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else?
That's my question.
Just, I didn't remember that. it was too far back, so.
Give us some more good news, Justin. Come on. Keep
I
going.
mean, that's all I had was, is that, we've got that surplus, that 600 plus $1,000 surplus and funding all of your alternates and additional scope at the elementary school. All great news.
That's great news. Yeah, great news.
And if I
Certainly
can
it's a-
add something,
Sure. Who's out there?
Ed Brady.
Ed Brady, of course.
Also, Ed Collins, why don't you give him a quick update on some of the things you're doing in the high school as well under a different funding source? Lighting, HVAC controls.
So the lighting retrofit has already been done. That's complete. That was done through Rhode Island Energy Incentives and a little bit of on-bill financing. And we're going to replace the whole control system for the HVAC system again through the same Rhode Island Energy Incentives and a little bit of on-bill financing. That'll be done. We're waiting for the final mechanical thing to be complete, then we'll tap into that. So, yep. And that's being all done outside of the bond.
We don't get reimbursed.
No.
Would that somehow be encapsulated in the $20 million over that RIDE was going to reimburse us?
Anything we invest in any of the schools is going to go for reimbursement, regardless of where the funding source is. So, yes. Yeah, and the other thing with that system that we're looking to put in the ES complex will be exactly the same that's in the new high school. So it'll all be on one platform. We're trying to conform everything, so.
Anybody else?
My only other question is, and perhaps the Bentley and Gilbane can answer this, is the contingency going to cover escalation in materials and labor? Labor should be taken care of in the PLA, no?
Yes.
But materials are question mark in my mind, given current political climate. Would that be
No,
part
we
of
have,
our-
this guaranteed maximum price guarantees,
what?
yes.
They take a beat and they take a
With the
beat.
exception of tariffs. Tariffs are the
Yes.
one unknown that would be we would have to capture with our owner's contingency.
Okay, so it is within that contingency. We're
Foreseeable.
accounting for it.
The foreseeable or ultimate tariff extra cost.
Yeah, right now we have, since we were able to fund all of the alternates, we have the $7 million owner's contingency, which right now is not earmarked for any additional scope. So
That's
that,
where that escalation
that-
might come from.
not escalation, tariffs.
Right. Okay.
Escalation is included in the GMP, tariffs are not. Escalation only gets us through, but estimating through 60% CD. Once we get to GMP, they own it, the escalation within their guaranteed maximum price.
Okay. Thank you for relieving me of my ignorance.
Okay, thanks, folks. Anything else? Justin, yeah? We move
Well,
to-
I'm going to turn it back over for items 4.4 and 4.5 to the committee to vote on the proposals.
Okay, so that's great. Nobody else has any questions? We'll move into item 4.4, which is to consider and vote to approve Bentley's elementary school GMP and alternates. I'll look for a motion, Mr. Moran.
I move that the building committee make a recommendation to approve the GMP amendment with a base value of $9,427,171 inclusive of allowances along with change orders 1 through 9 for $114,394, and to accept alternate number 1A for $291,004, alternate 1B for $147,014, alternate 1C for $1,607,451, alternate 1D for $1,091,535, alternate 1E for $165,019, alternate number 2 for $124,108, alternate number 3 for $633,178, alternate number 4 for $753,594, alternate number 5 for $172,947, and alternate number 6 for $438,570, for a total of $14,965,985.
We have a motion and a second. First, I want to thank you for putting it up there back on the screen so we can follow along with Don's. Colin, thank you. But we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? It's a mouthful, but thank you. No further questions. All those please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Chair also votes aye. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is 4.5. Consider and vote to approve Gilbane's Middle High School GMP and alternates.
I move that the building committee make a recommendation to approve the GMP amendment for Gilbane with a base value of $132,301,152, inclusive of allowances, and, excuse me, and previously approved add alternates number 7, 8, and 9, and to accept add alternate number 1 for $511,485, add alternate number 2 for $1,625,668, add alternate number 3 for $564,397, add alternate number 4 for $377,066, add alternate number 6 for $221,127, and add alternate number 11 for $220,945, for a total of $135,821,840, and to reject add alternates number 10, 13, 14, 15, and 17, and to hold deduct alternates number 12 and number 16. Alternate number 5 is not used.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Again, another mouthful. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Chair also votes aye. Thank you. Great job. Okay, moving on. Item 4.6, Gaudet Tree Relocation Proposal Review, which is, will get us to consider and vote to approve the Northeastern Tree Service proposal for tree relocation.
Yeah, so we already discussed this briefly. We did receive a proposal back on the 31st of October from Northeastern Tree Service in the amount of $8,900, which includes relocation of 9 existing trees identified by the Tree Commission and identified on the contract documents by HMFH and their team. It also includes loam and seed to restore the location of the removed trees. The trees will be, the cost is good for the trees to be performed during the dormant season of spring or fall of 2016, or as late as spring of 2017, 2026, or the spring of 2027. We're not going back in time. And because Northeastern Tree Service is an approved master price agreement contractor, all terms will be in accordance with the State of Rhode Island Division of Purchases Master Price Agreement Contract MPA 372 fiscal year 26.
Question? Ron?
Just one quick question. When we first looked at this months ago, there was one other tree that wanted to be moved, but was going to be replaced and replanted. Whatever, wasn't?
So the sugar maple that is within the limits of Gilbane's fence line is replacing the dead ash tree that's over at Turner Street.
Thank you.
Turner
I couldn't,
Avenue.
Yeah, there was a dead,
Turner Road.
Road, I
yeah, the dead ash tree that was oak by the road.
would get
This
there
one-
eventually.
This one's getting moved to where there's a dead tree.
Correct.
Got it. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions on this? Don, you can read the motion.
I move that the building committee make a recommendation toward the tree location work to Northeastern Tree Service in the amount of $8,900.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. I also vote aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Very well. Quite the savings as well on that. Don, thank you for pointing out. Let's see, item number 4.7, middle high school construction update.
Yeah, just a quick update. We've got 4 photos. As you can see from the top left-hand photo, what we refer to as, building A, which is the high school wing. Structural steel is well underway. And again, these photos were from last week. So there is actually much more steel than you're seeing in this photo erected to this point. Much of the decking has been laid out and they're working on securing the decking, for placement of the slabs, which will be hopefully sometime next month. The next photo, top right, is stair 6, which is now fully erected. And in fact, we've also got stair 4 almost completely erected on the other side of the high school wing. Lower left is just pretty cool photo of the underground, and actually I'd label those as electrical room, underground conduit. Yes, they do go to the electrical room, but those are actually low voltage conduit. There is actually far more conduit running through. You can actually see those colored circles in the concrete. Those are all sleeves through the concrete foundation where conduits for electrical and low voltage will penetrate. And then the last photo, bottom right, you're seeing administration wing footings and reinforcing bar. And actually this morning, where you're seeing that reinforcing bar sticking out of the footings, those walls were actually poured this morning. So, even though these photos are only, couple days old, progress is moving really, really well on site. Even with this crazy weather we're having, we haven't had any lost days of production.
Structural steel guy was able to fly steel in that.
So that one day that we had that really really high winds, by the time 7 a.m. turned around, the wind had died down to the point where we were actually able to have a full day of steel erection with no impact.
And
I was surprised as well.
Saturday, I believe. No? Yes.
I have a question.
Sure.
Can we get a tour one of these days? I heard that we have to have steel toe shoes.
You do have to have steel toe shoes, and which is the one thing that you would have to provide. But we do have, PPE, personal protective equipment. We've got vests and hard hats and gloves and glasses. Yeah, happy to bring you, onto the site. Can't get you onto the steel. The steel is not safe for anybody, but the
I don't even want to get that close, but I don't have steel toe shoes. I'm not going out and buying them for a tour, but I think it would be really nice to just, not even have to go all the way onto the site, but it would be nice to get up close enough to be able to and still be at a safe distance.
The view
You
from
can
Gaudet
see all
cafeteria is
cafeteria,
really
you can see
good.
everything.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that you got the
Patio.
cafeteria and
I
you're
was there today and I
there.
felt like I was in it.
Okay. all right,
It gets
so
a
then I'm
really
gonna have to
good
do
view.
that.
Yeah, there's a
I
very,
just,
yeah, I'm wondering maybe.
I see that it's happening every single day because I drive by there all the time, so I can see it all
you
constantly.
can actually see it better from Gaudet than you can from our trailers because
Yeah.
it's much closer.
Yeah, I don't know if it makes sense if people, I know Colin and I talked about this a couple of months ago, maybe schedule, like before one of these meetings, go over to Gaudet like 4 o'clock and talk about what everything is from you.
Do that.
If you wanted to, because you can see from Gaudet, you don't need PPE, right? You can be up there on that decking there, yeah, whatever it is.
I would suggest more towards 3:30 because by 4.
Oh, whatever. I'm just saying is maybe if you schedule one once a month or once every 2 months, just to say, hey, we're going to be here at this time. If anyone wants, we can explain what everything is and where everything is,
Sure, happy to do
if
something
you
like that.
wouldn't mind. I know Colin and I talked about this a couple of months ago, so.
Maybe if we get really creative, we could do one of our meetings there.
That's pretty gonna be a nippy meeting.
The trailer, in the trailer.
Cafeteria.
They have trailers. It might not be a bad thing. We're thinking
Yep.
right. But we used to go out there, but I think, yeah, like I would contact Justin and, steel toe shoes aren't as expensive as they might sound like they are. Get 'em
Wear
reasonable.
them afterwards.
Wear 'em out
Visiting.
clubbing.
I'll loan you mine. What size are you?
They don't need to fit me. They can be big. I can slop it.
So that's all good stuff. We're gonna move forward.
Yeah, we're gonna vote.
Yeah, go right ahead. So we're on to, any other questions on the construction update, folks? Anything? It's definitely moving along at a nice clip and, a lot of good things to have and see out there. Item 4.8, RI NEVI Phase 2, 2A, Community Charging RFA Application Status.
Yeah, just wanted to, bring everybody up to speed. I received an email, maybe a week and a half ago. Originally, the grant application responses were going to be by October 1st. The email indicated that the, Office of Energy Resources is, looking to respond to the grant applications by the end of November now. And again, if that changes, I will inform the committee if the grant application response date changes again. So that was the only update there. So that's the only feedback that we've heard regarding our grant application thus far. And then the last slide for today is the 2-week look ahead. Really just 2 items. The first is the town council approval of the guaranteed maximum price proposals. And then as far as work at the middle high school, bulk excavation is actually really slowing down and wrapping up, as well as the soil removal, concrete form work. Probably have another 3 to 4 weeks of concrete form work before they demobilize, for form work, and then, start bringing in their slab crew. Foundation waterproofing is still well underway. As you could see from the photos, we've got our mechanical, electrical, really just mainly our electrical underground going in and still continuing to do our coordination for the remainder of the MEPs. And then structural steel erection will be going for the next few months. And we've begun talking about in our OAC meetings about the topping off ceremony. And once we have more feedback regarding the structural steel topping off ceremony, we'll bring it to the school building committee.
You're going to want to be out there for Thanksgiving Day football. Some nice banners that will be.
There will be some nice banners.
Nice banners be flown and be show off Middletown.
Is it a home game?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I did request putting a Portsmouth banner up with the Middletown, but it was
It's not going to
rejected.
happen, Justin. That's not going to happen.
Let's say regionalize.
Oh, boom. Okay. Any other questions? Anything else on the look ahead? Yeah, some great work that's happening out there. A great team, folks. I continue to say it, between starting at the top with Sean in the town, school committee, Billy, school department, of course, OPM and Gilbane, Bentley, of course. Yeah, we're setting the bar on how to do a good project, and we're still a ways away, but keep up the good work. I'm pleased. And the design team, of course, Matt and Ed and that whole group there. Yes, I know I would forget somebody, but you're all part of a great team, and I'm glad to be part of it myself. Okay, nothing else on that? We can move.
Yeah.
Nothing else, Justin? Thank you.
Floor is yours.
Thank you. School building committee update. We have, we're going to look at our 2026 school building committee calendar review. Before we do that, I know part of that will be, you mentioned about that topping off for, do we have any idea when that might be? We're looking probably February-ish.
February-ish.
Yeah, it'll be very wintry-ish, so, I think we talked about it last meeting, having the beam will be out there, maybe in a location where it can be signed. Of course, many of you know how that works. Beam signing, and then it will, maybe even, we might even get lucky to see it go up that day. But that will be like mid-February, end of February-ish, nice and cold, so get
It'll be
your
a
lunch.
quick ceremony.
Quick ceremony, yes, with a lot of hot chocolate and whatever else we can smuggle in there. Okay, done.
Yeah, so this is just a proposal for dates for building committee meetings in 2026. We meet twice a month, so the way this is laid out, it's the last Wednesday, and then it's either and it's the second Wednesday and the last Wednesday of the month. So some of the months have 5 Wednesdays in it. This past year, we had them on those months, we had them on the 3rd and the 5th. But the first and the third Wednesdays, we now have another building committee in town that meets on the third Wednesday. So in order to avoid that conflict, we meet the second Wednesday of every month and then the last Wednesday of every month. So this is the proposal. We can vote on it next time. I also added the town council meetings and the school committee meetings on here. Just make sure those are accurate. And then at our next meeting, we can just say this works. Thank you.
If I may, now that we're through the GMP proposal process, typically building committee meetings would be reduced to monthly. As much as I love meeting with all of you, twice a month, it would be difficult for us to come up with enough material every 2 weeks now that the GMP is is going to be approved. We would really just have a very brief, construction update. But if we do it monthly, we'll have a schedule update, budget update, as well as a, construction update. Just a suggestion.
Would we be able to see the actual schedule? We have a proposed schedule, and then obviously those are targets. And I'd like to see percentages of completion, or I'd like to see, once a month is fine by me, really. But I'd like to be able to track that a little closer, or even on a personal level.
Yeah, contractually, the construction managers owe us a updated schedule on a monthly basis.
Right, and I'd like to be able to view that other than here.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so that would be available to us.
Absolutely.
If you go to once a month, I would suggest that you put it before the school committee meeting.
Yeah.
So that's a good question.
Right.
Do you anticipate a lot of things that happen and go to the school committee and town council during the next many months? Like, we've approved just about everything, right? What else, change orders or
The only
something?
thing, that we would really have to go through would be any major changes. As of right now, the statutes state that any change order under 25,000 is can be signed by the administrator, and then any change orders $100,000 or under can be signed off by the school superintendent, town administrator. So really, it would be the only approvals required would be for changes over $100,000.
So we're heading in that direction of one meeting a month, even as we speak. We don't have a meeting the rest of November because of the holiday scheduled. That would be the 26th. We've canceled that, I believe.
No, we moved it to the
25th.
25th on our
Did we?
current schedule. Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. Okay.
Right there.
Okay. All right. So, but then we go back into December. And did we move the 3rd of December? So sorry, it's the 10th, actually.
Yeah, the December, we have 2 meetings as well scheduled. We can certainly change that. I mean, if we
What do
don't.
we have scheduled for the December? I have the 10th and
The 10th, and again, we moved it to the Tuesday, the 23rd. So we can certainly cancel those.
let's revisit
Given
that
that-
next month. Let's, next
Thank you.
meeting. Let's
Okay,
revisit
well,
that and have a
yeah,
discussion then.
My proposal, so what I'll do is I will reduce this to once a month. Am I hearing you want the second Wednesday prior to the school committee, just to make it?
That makes sense.
So I will remove the last Wednesdays from these. I'll just leave the first meeting that I have on here, which will be the second Wednesday of the month. And we'll just go to monthly. And then for the remaining, well, the next agenda topic, we'll talk about I put on here the next meeting it's on the Tuesday of Thanksgiving. If we need it, do we think we need it? We can talk about that at this point.
I'd like to speak, please, on this matter.
Go right ahead, Mr. Brady.
I think before we make any decisions on our meeting schedule, I think we need to look at what we'll be monitoring as the project continues. I think for one thing, my concern is I would always like to see the end of the month's budget status and so forth. So I think what we need to do is look at our requirements as we proceed through the meeting before we start changing our meeting schedule at this point.
Maybe it's something we can, as you mentioned, a summary. It can be a brief summary of the
Yeah.
important.
I'm not saying that we shouldn't go down to once a month, but I think we have to look at what we're hearing is more or less. I mean, at the end of the month, you'll have a feeling for what the monthly requisition is, what the schedule is. And I think that's important for us to keep tabs on.
Okay.
And that's why I really would like to not make a decision like this until we look at all our requirements for, following on in this project.
Let's bring this up the next meeting. We'll have a
Yep.
chat. Okay, sounds good. Anything else?
Yes, on behalf of the committee, I'd just like to thank our consulting team, our legal team for the efforts they put in to review these CMs, and for our construction managers for the work they've put into. I think we're off to a great start. I did never imagine that we'd be sitting here approving every one of our alternates after the 60% cost estimate came in. So everything is working out. And as Ed Collins says, we're in a good place.
You missed more people than me. Mr. Okay, all good. Thank you, Ed. Anybody
Right.
else? I will entertain a motion to adjourn, Mr. Welch. Oh,
No, can't yet.
can't do that. My apologies. Yes, we need to do school committee, get that done. Hold that thought.
I will entertain a motion to consider and vote to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made to consider and vote to approve the consent agenda. It has been seconded. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion passes. I will now ask the building committee to adjourn the school building committee meeting.
Motion adjourned.
Have a motion?
Second.
And a second. All those in favor? Aye. Motion approved. School committee. building committee adjourned.
I will now entertain a motion to adjourn the school committee meeting.
I make a motion to adjourn the school committee meeting at
6:17.
17.
Second.
Motion has been made to adjourn the school committee meeting at 6:17. It was seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Shepherd.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Shepherd.
Motion
Lost,
passes.
all right. I
Thank
lost.
you, everybody, for your hard work. Appreciate it.
Fault for that. I
Still
lost.
on.
Yeah.